Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it? You already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict, right? As you can tell by today's thumbnail, trash. Basura. Let's get into it. I came across a story. One of the loyal subscribers sent me a story and said, Gun, you need to touch on this. You need to talk about this. This is a trip. So I said, Sasuke, watch out. Okay, let me do my proper investigation. Let me find out exactly what's going on. Let me trip out on it. And as I got into the story behind the facts, or the facts behind the story, I definitely started to recollect and started to remember this story when it happened. Okay? And it played an intricate part into Chicanos, right? How two Chicanos, two people of this caliber living the way that they did, could get caught up in a situation like this and become a killer couple. Become a couple, very heinous, at the bottom of the barrel. And I can't even fathom people that would do something like this. How they could walk around with their chest up or their head up high and have children of their own and do something of this nature. And I'm sure there's a big backstory behind the reasoning behind why they did this. But nothing could ever be said to justify the actions of this couple. Okay? Now, I'm going to say allegedly. They've been found guilty in a court of law and they've got stretched out, of course. But it's always going to be allegedly with me because we don't know. We weren't in that room. We don't know what happened. So we don't know how the air was blowing that particular day. But what we do know is they were found guilty. They were accused of the situation. And I mean, Sasuke, possession is 9/10 of the law. And when you're possessing a body and you're walking across the border, bang, bang. You're pretty much guilty, right? Or you were involved somehow, some way. So let me tell you the backstory. This involves a vato they call Sneaks, you know, Mr. Johnny Hartley from LA, yet he was living in Whittier at the time, and his old lady of several years, Mercy, right? And they were a couple. They had several kids. I believe that she had 8 or 9 kids herself, ranging all the way from the adults to babies. And they were living their life. You know, they had a nice big 2-story home in Whittier, California. They were doing their thing. They were involved in the car club scene. They were part of a car club. Just your typical Chicano family, lowriders that probably made a lot of mistakes in the past, but were making amends for them and getting their shit together. You know, they were well known, both being from a certain vato in LA. I'm not even going to speak on that vato because I don't want to put that vato on blast, but a very well-known vato in Los Angeles, right? For those of you that know the story, know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's just say it's one of the bigger gangs in the world, right? So the vato was doing his thing, man, working, taking care of his familia, taking care of her kids as well as what kids he did have. And she was being that stay-home mother doing her thing. Now, of course, they had that Chicano look, that traditional Chicano look, Ben Davis's, Dickies, Cortez's, oh my, you know, that estilo that we keep rocking and that we keep pushing forever forward because we go back to our roots of Choloism and things of that nature, and that's fine and dandy and that's cool. But like I've said in previous spills, man, people can get the wrong impression about you. People can get standoffish. People can judge a book by its cover, not really knowing the character of a man and how you act. Okay, so as I started getting into the story and I started recollecting and remembering, I could tell you the story right off the tip, right off the head, right? These people got caught up. These people actually got caught up with the duffel bag, which contained a 4-year-old little girl that was deceased in this bag. Okay, they were trying to cross over into the Mexican border, so we already know what happens. You cross over to Mexico and, you know what I mean, there's no evidence, no one knows, it's all gone. But somewhere along the line of them trying to cross over, they got approached by a couple of placas, a couple of custom agents, and the girl Mercy panicked and took off running, left her old man there with the bag in his hand. Of course, he was detained. They wanted to ask him questions and not even knowing what was going on, because usually people are bringing things from Mexico back to the United States rather than vice versa, bringing it from the United States in. So, of course, they snatch him up, not really knowing what's going on in this duffel bag that he had in his possession. Of course, they ran it through the x-ray. When they ran it through the x-ray, lo and behold, they find a deceased 4-year-old. Okay? Now, we all know, you as well as me know that it's over, right? Life is pretty much over for this couple. Of course, they end up detaining the woman, catching her, and they bring her back and they do questioning. Now, somewhere along the line, Mercy, the woman, starts to let the story unfold because she's scared. She didn't want to do all day, yet she's going to. And her old man is tight-lipped. But when you're caught up in a situation like this, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's like, you're done, vato. And in that fashion, right? When there's a kid involved, it gets ugly. Okay, so backstory is this. Supposedly and allegedly, there was a 20-year-old mother involved, and these people were doing what you would call human trafficking or pimping. Okay, they were pimping out this woman, telling her, you need to go here and get our money, so on and so forth. Here they are living in this residential neighborhood. Everyone thinks they're just a normal couple in the lowrider scene, well known in the area, several kids themselves. But in the cuts on the unders, they are basically doing anything they can to get money to make this happen for themselves, right? And they got caught up in what you would call trafficking, or basically making a woman do something against her will, right? So I had this 20-year-old, and they were sitting her down on the track. They were making her go back and bring that back, basically pimping. Okay, somewhere along the lines, this woman decided, this 20-year-old, that she didn't want to do this anymore, and that she had a 4-year-old daughter, and her daughter were just going to do it moving and grooving. Now, I am not sure if this woman was related to this couple, but somewhere along the lines, they came into contact, they became friends, and this started to happen and started to develop. Maybe they were all into drugs. That's probably what happens. This woman had looked decent, so they decided, okay, this is a way for you to bring it back for all of us. We could all win. After time, she decided that this wasn't for her. She didn't want to do this. And of course, she was staying with them with her 4-year-old daughter, an innocent little girl who basically was the victim in this whole situation and had nothing to do with it. You know, there was no one there to protect her. Neither the mother, I don't know where the father was. So he could be at the welfare department putting in applications over there, so trying to get a food stamp. Probably left as the baby was little and went with another hyena. It happens. But this couple who should have known better, who had 8 or 9 kids themselves, took advantage of this woman and took advantage of the situation and basically threatened her, allegedly, to go out there and bring that sack back, go out there and get the bolsita, so that they could either indulge in drugs or, basically have money. So she was doing this for a time. And like I said, she decided somewhere along the lines, and I don't know the reasoning behind it, that she did not want to do it no more. Okay, so what they proceeded to do was threaten her, allegedly. They proceeded to threaten her and tell her, you're going to go out there on that track and bring ours back. You know what I mean? If not, we're going to do something bad to your young daughter, who they already have possession of because they were living with her. So, of course, the woman panics and goes out there on the track and for a time is doing what she has to do. And allegedly, the little girl was okay. They were just taking care of her, feeding her, whatever. Somewhere along the lines, the mom decided not to come back, right? Maybe she got doped out. Maybe she got scared. Maybe she just was like, fuck it, Holmes. Mi vida loca, you know what I mean? La primera live. Whatever the case may be, she just wasn't coming back. And this ain't a laughing matter. That's just my style, But she decided not to come back. And what happened to this young girl, man, I don't even like to really speak on. But if I'm going to speak facts, I'm going to speak facts. I'm not going to sugarcoat or add no preservatives. This little girl was tortured. Bad things happened to her. Of a sexual nature, I can't say. But I'm just going to say that she was tortured, and it's a 4-year-old baby. Think about that. Okay, she can't protect herself. These 2 grown people, big people in her life, are the ones doing this to her, allegedly. Okay? She was taken to a motel and drowned, as the story goes. This is the story coming from Mercy that she told, the authorities. And that she was drowned. Okay? Basically, these people were mad because the mom didn't come back with the sack. So instead of just taking this little girl to the fucking welfare department or CPS and saying, hey, we don't know who this is, take it, and just chalking it up as a loss. If I ever see the fucking 20-year-old that wiggled, maybe I might slap her up one time for my mom. Whatever, instead of thinking like that or just letting the whole situation go, they took it to the next level. Were drugs involved? Obviously. When drugs are involved, man, people do things that they shouldn't necessarily do. Okay, but they did this. Okay, this is what happened. And it went down. The situation went down. And of course, they decided that for no other reason, we got to get rid of this body. So most people, would go bury a body, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I've never been involved in nothing like that. I don't know. But you would think that they would, find a reason or a way around where they're at to get rid of the body. Of course, they thought Grandmaster Plan, Whittier not being too far off from Mexico, will take the body into Mexico and get rid of it. So that's where it comes into play, where they were caught with this duffel bag taking it over the border. Okay? Now, of course, this is a very heinous case and a big case. I think a couple years everybody was focusing back on the little kid with his monster parents that, shot him with BB guns and did all that to him. The mom and her boyfriend, what was it? Pearl Fernandez, the fucking dumb fucking baboso, her boyfriend with her, and the little boy, And it was a big story. It got national media attention, which I was very surprised because it being a Chicano story from the hood, you wouldn't think that it would get that much national attention. They never do, hardly. You know what I mean? Of course, we know Lacey Peterson. She also got national attention, her being Chicana as well. But I know her familia had money, so the focus was on that. But for a Chicano story to get national attention doesn't really happen. And I'm not going to go into the fucking reasoning behind it doesn't happen. Use your brain. Read between the lines. Right? So this story was kind of swept under the rug in a sense where it didn't garner national attention. It was just something that happened. But I thought it was big. People actually murdering a little girl allegedly and taking her over into Mexico, another country, basically trying to import and export, right? Illegally. Anyways, the complexity to this story and to what happened boggles my mind. There's a lot of sick individuals out there, gente. Raza, you don't know what your neighbor's doing right now. Sasuke, Vato could be in their party with like 6 hookers right now, having it his way. Or they could be chained up on the wall. You just never know what anyone's doing. He could be out there washing his car. Orale, what's up, Jaime? Man, aquí nomás, posted like a thumbtack. Meanwhile, there's 6 fucking people chained up. Help me, right? Orale, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You just never know what's going on. And likewise, they don't know what's going on with you. You could be like, orale, Jaime, hey, where you going? What the? I'm going to go give me a taco. You good? You know what I mean? Meanwhile, fucking, there's 6 pirujas in your house, you know what I mean, having it their way. And meanwhile, there's vatos over here struggling. He ain't had pussy in 6 months, you know what I mean? But you're doing too much. No one knows anyone's life and what's going on around them. Okay? And of course, you want to have privacy. That's part of life. Everybody wants to be a private person. You don't want everyone to know all your business. The ones that want everyone to know all their business, man, ain't really doing shit. They want people. They want that shine. They want to be a star, a celebrity. They want everyone to know what's going on. The ones that are very quiet and just do their own thing, for the most part, that's all they're doing is their own thing. They're just trying to live. But of course, those are the ones that could, something could be going on. Anyways, in this situation, I think drugs played a big intricate part into this whole get down, this whole storia. Just based on what they did. It doesn't look like an act like they were serial killers, that they were doing this over and over again. It doesn't seem that way. Okay, it didn't seem that way when I read the article. Didn't seem that way when I started to reflect on the story and remember hearing about it. It just didn't seem that way. This guy being a gang member from a big prominent gang in LA, it's a sneaks. I've seen several photographs of him with his homeboys. So obviously this vato knew better. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you if he did time, but I'm pretty sure he did time before, was well known in there, and was a good camarada, right? At the same time, he should have known better and to do something like this. So my only thinking and only reasoning behind it is drugs played a part into it. Maybe they were struggling that bad financially that they needed to do something extra to make money. So let's go work at Taco Bell. They got the new wings. Be the fryer, so everyone's going to love you, right? But he didn't want to do that. And maybe they just came across this woman and decided that for no other reason. Hey, it was easy money. They were making good money off of it. When she decided not to come back with that sack is when nature took its course and things flipped and turned. They might have got paranoid. Oh, she's going to tell us, say we kidnapped her daughter. We got to get rid of this little kid. But why was, when they did the autopsy, the torturing happened, it seemed like for a week. And I'm not going to go into the details of that because I don't do that here, man. I don't fucking condone that shit whatsoever. I'm not using this story for monetary gain. Oh, Sasuke, look, I'm going to exploit this little... Nah, Charlie. I'm just telling you guys a story about some Chicanos that happened that tripped me out. Probably tripping you out right now. It's a sad situation, The victim is not the woman. even the girl that was trafficking herself or being forced to do that, yeah, she's a lightweight victim, man, but I think she was in the drug game and she knew what she was doing, right? The victim definitely ain't the man. He's the man in the situation. He should have put his fucking foot down his head of household and been like, Charlie. You know what I mean? The victim is that 4-year-old who looked towards adults to help her and no one was there. This is why I push as a raza, as a people in general, we need to help each other. We need to get our shit together so that financially we can take care of our kids so they don't have to go through shit like this. You know what I mean? Keep your people away from people like this that are all scanted out and fucking warriored out 10 to 2, right? Because they always do weird shit with children. It's like something in that fucking droga that fucking triggers them to do something bad to kids. Okay? It's not a good situation. You know? It takes a sick-minded, fucking weird individual to put a 4-year-old in a duffel bag, deceased already, and try to carry her over, or him at that time, right? It was a her, into fucking Mexico. Who in their right mind thinks that that's just gonna happen? Now, South I know there's caminos and people do their thing, man, and I ain't speaking on that. That's their business. Get yours on. But for people to carry things into Mexico is a trip. You think they're not gonna see you? You know what I mean? And karma's bad, man. He might have fucked up in the, you know, that couple might have been doing bad things, man. And karma came back and bit him in their ass, where they just happened to run into custom agents at that time, and the hyena panicked and Mercy was gone. Give me Mercy. She was gone, right? Her fat ass was like, she was gone. Piercings falling out everywhere. You know what I mean? Tawanga, just wobbling, right? She was wobble. She got on, and her old man was up there at the bag like, hey, no, it's her, eh? Let's get, oh, this is my luggage. Right now, it ain't your luggage. But they ran it through the x-ray machine, and they were horrified to find out what was in there. Imagine that. Sit back and imagine you being a custom agent. First of all, you're a baboso for being a custom agent, right? But they're a custom agent. That's their holiday, man. You can't be mad at them for doing their job. You know, at the same time, you can't rock with them or rock against them. But they're doing their thing. And they see this, man. And they see that this little girl's been tortured. This baby's been tortured. Things of that nature, right? I'm not going to get into the details. But, man, imagine that. That will resonate and stick with you forever. I know it would me, because I'm a normal motherfucker, man. And I love my children and I love kids, right? It's like, damn. You know, how can people do this? What is twisted in the human nature? What is twisted in the mind? Sick motherfuckers to do this. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a drug epidemic. Okay? It's a drug epidemic, and it's a way of living. It's a way of life. People get stuck in this box, and they get stuck in this way of thinking of, oh, you got to be a killer. You got to be a gangster. You got to be a this. You got to be a that. You know what I mean? We'll chop you up. We'll do that. Nah, you ain't got to do all that, bro. That's a fucking, you're a product of your environment. You're a product of your mind, your weird-ass mind. And smoking them drugs got you like that, all fucking warriored out, right? Let's put the pizzo down, homes. You know what I mean? Put some work boots on, some Red Wings, vato. But it happens. Anyways, I thought I would just touch on this story because I came across it. Like I said, a loyal subscriber hit me up and was like, man, trip out on this, bro. Do something on this. And it just jumped out at me because, yes, it does involve a big gang from down south. Yes. And I'm not going to speak on that gang, man, because, you know, that gang, the reflection of that certain set doesn't do justice on what this guy was doing. He has no reflection on that. He is no longer part of that. You are ostracized, right? Get the fuck up out of here. Because the things that he's done is not because he was from a gang. That has nothing to do with it. You could be a gang member and a productive member of society at the same time. You're from the barrio. You grew up. You got love for your homeboys. You eat a carne asada. You guys drink a little pisto. Watch the Raider game. Raiders, right? Playoffs. Bang, bang. Sorry, Chargers. And do your thing. And at the end of the day, man, go back and go home to your familia without having to fucking put people in duffel bags and things of that nature, right? It's those sick individuals that fucking think they're gang related, think they're all bad, smoking scante all night long, that won't get off their lazy ass to go get a job, right? That do bad things like this. It's just a cold game, man. And the most innocent victim and most precious victim in this whole thing is a 4-year-old little girl, man, that couldn't defend herself and didn't know right from wrong. Cold game, raza. Be aware. Watch your children, man. Know where they're at all times. You know, I panic if I turn to the left and my daughter's to the right. You know, it just trips me out. Anyways, with that being said, man, it's a cold game, man. If you want to look into it, the vato's name is Johnny Hartley. Mercy, que la chingada. I don't know her fucking last name. She's a big fat gorda. Looks like fucking Large Marge from Pee-wee's fucking Playhouse. Anyways, so trip out on it. I hope that you guys move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, man, it's all about pushing for your familia. Stay aware and be aware of people around you. Know what's going on at all times. Hit the like and subscribe if you like this. If you want to hear more stories like this, true stories, we're going to get down to the bottom of it. If not, hit the thumbs down. I don't care. Gracias for the view. It is what it is. The gun. Bang, bang. It's a sad situation.